With so many games dropping every year, some absolute gems get overshadowed. Today we're diving into 15 underrated masterpieces, games that deserve way more love than they got. If you've missed out on these, trust me, you're in for a treat. Imagine Dark Souls but with mechs and exosuits. That's The Surge, a sci-fi action RPG that delivers some of the most satisfying strategic combat out there. Instead of just slashing away, you can target specific limbs, slicing off enemy parts to steal their gear. It's a brutal but rewarding system that makes every fight feel intense. The game also nails its atmosphere. Trapped inside a dystopian factory with rogue machines and cybernetic horrors, you constantly feel on edge. While it didn't get the mainstream attention of Soulsborne games, its deep combat and environmental storytelling make it a must-play for fans of challenging RPGs. When you hear Marvel game, you probably think of fast-paced action. But Midnight Suns takes a different approach, blending turn-based strategy with deep RPG mechanics. Created by the masterminds behind XCOM, it delivers thrilling tactical battles where every decision matters. But what really sets it apart is its character-driven storytelling. You're not just assembling a team of superheroes, you're forming real relationships with them. Whether it's training with Wolverine or having heart-to-hearts with Ghost Rider, the game makes you feel like you're part of a superhero family. It's a fantastic mix of strategy, storytelling, and superhero action that deserves way more recognition.
Here we go! Wonder what the desertion rate is for Hydra lackeys. I'm on it.
I know that wasn't your signature move.
Titanfall 2 is a game that should have been a global phenomenon. It delivers some of the best first-person shooter gameplay ever, with fluid movement, insane parkour mechanics, and massive mechs dropping into battle. But what really makes it stand out is its single-player campaign, one of the best FPS campaigns in gaming history. The bond between the protagonist Jack Cooper and his Titan, BT-7274, is unexpectedly emotional, and the game constantly surprises you with inventive level design, especially the iconic Effect and Cause mission. Sadly, it was released between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty: Infinite Warfare, causing it to be overlooked. But if you love fast, smart, and heart-pounding FPS action, you need to play Titanfall 2.
Cuidado, tem piloto da milícia. Mais sobrevivente. Achei! Cuidado, piloto inimigo. Negativo, sumiu.
Loosely inspired by the ancient Chinese tale Journey to the West, Enslaved is an action-adventure game that combines cinematic storytelling, engaging combat, and fantastic world design. You play as Monkey, a warrior forced to protect Trip, a tech-savvy survivor, as they journey through a stunning post-apocalyptic world overgrown with nature. What makes this game special is the chemistry between the two protagonists. Andy Serkis, famous for playing Gollum, delivers a fantastic motion capture performance as Monkey. The combat is satisfying, the platforming is fluid, and the world feels alive. It didn't get the attention it deserved, but if you're a fan of games like Uncharted, this one is a hidden gem.
Distracted!
The Order 1886 is one of the most visually stunning games of its time. Set in an alternate history Victorian London, it follows a secret order of knights battling supernatural threats. The game blends cinematic storytelling with third-person shooting, creating an immersive experience that feels like you're playing through a high-budget movie. The world building is incredible, with steampunk aesthetics and lore that hint at something much bigger. The biggest complaint against the game was its short length, but what it lacks in hours, it makes up for in sheer atmosphere and storytelling. It's a game that deserved a sequel, but even on its own, it's worth experiencing for its unique setting and presentation.
Stun! Take the shot!
Izzy! Are you alright?
Damn it!
God, they're slaughtering them. Ready?
Spec Ops. The line may look like a generic military shooter at first, but it quickly reveals itself as one of the most thought-provoking and unsettling war stories in gaming. Inspired by Apocalypse Now, the game explores the horrors of war, forcing players into gut-wrenching moral choices. As Captain Martin Walker, you're sent into a sandstorm-ravaged Dubai, but as the story unfolds, you start questioning everything, including yourself. The gameplay is solid, but it's the narrative twists and psychological depth that make it unforgettable. It's one of those games that leaves you thinking long after the credits roll, and it's criminally underrated for the bold risks it takes.
He's shielded! We can't hit him! You gotta flank him! Shit, man! We're taking some heavy fire here!
One down!
Get down, Long!
On the shack! 12 o'clock!
They killed him! Get down, Long! Get this!
This way.
If you love open-world games with deep combat and insane car chases, Mad Max is for you. This game delivers an expansive post-apocalyptic wasteland to explore, packed with brutal melee fights, chaotic vehicular combat, and a gripping survivalist tone. You customize your car, the magnum opus, turning it into the ultimate war machine. The hand-to-hand combat takes inspiration from the Batman Arkham series, and it feels incredibly satisfying to smash through enemies. While it launched around the same time as Metal Gear Solid V and was overshadowed, Mad Max is an open-world gem that truly captures the spirit of George Miller's movies. Survival horror fans often talk about Resident Evil or Silent Hill, but The Evil Within 2 is a horror masterpiece that deserves way more love. Unlike the first game, which was more linear, this sequel gives you semi-open world areas where you can explore, scavenge for resources, and face off against grotesque enemies. You play as Sebastian Castellanos, a detective who enters a simulated nightmare world to save his daughter. The game blends psychological horror with action-packed combat, giving players the choice to either sneak past threats or go in guns blazing. It has some truly terrifying moments, eerie level design, and a gripping story filled with emotional weight. If you love survival horror, don't sleep on this one.
Shit.
Mirror's Edge is a game that dared to be different. Instead of focusing on shooting mechanics, it's all about fluid first-person parkour, making you feel like a true free runner. You play as Faith, a runner in a dystopian city where information is tightly controlled. The game's minimalist art style, bright color palette, and adrenaline-fueled chases create a unique experience that still feels fresh today. The movement mechanics are incredibly satisfying. Wall running, vaulting, and leaping across skyscrapers has never felt smoother. Unfortunately, its sequel, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, didn't live up to expectations, but the original remains an underrated gem that deserves a spot in every gamer's collection. Before Insomniac Games blew us away with Spider-Man, they gave us Sunset Overdrive, a game bursting with style, humor, and over-the-top action. Set in a city overrun by mutant energy drink monsters, this fast-paced open-world shooter is all about movement, grinding on rails, bouncing off rooftops, and pulling off insane stunts while taking down enemies with some of the most creative weapons in gaming. It's like if Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Ratchet and Clank had a wild neon-colored baby. Unfortunately, it was an Xbox One exclusive, which kept it from reaching a wider audience. But if you're looking for a game that's pure chaotic fun, you need to check it out. Think GTA, but set in Hong Kong with an emphasis on martial arts combat. That's Sleeping Dogs, an open-world crime thriller that puts you in the shoes of Wei Shen, an undercover cop infiltrating the Triads. The hand-to-hand combat is incredibly fluid, taking inspiration from games like Batman Arkham, but adding brutal environmental finishers. The driving mechanics are fast and arcadey, and the world is filled with side activities like street racing, fight clubs, and even karaoke. The story is surprisingly emotional, filled with betrayal, loyalty, and intense action. It's one of the best open-world games out there, but it never got the sequel it deserved. If you missed it, now's the perfect time to experience this underrated classic. If you love Breath of the Wild but want something with a Greek mythology twist, Immortals Fenyx Rising is for you. This open-world adventure lets you explore a stunning world filled with mythical creatures, clever puzzles, and fast-paced combat. You play as Fenyx, a customizable hero on a quest to save the gods from a dark curse. The game is filled with humor, thanks to hilarious narrations from Zeus and Prometheus, and the combat blends swordplay, archery, and godlike abilities. Despite its polished gameplay and creative storytelling, it was overlooked due to releasing around the same time as bigger Ubisoft titles. But make no mistake, this is one of the most enjoyable action-adventure games in recent years. Risk of Rain 2 takes the addictive roguelike formula of its predecessor and elevates it to new heights in a fully 3D world. The game throws you into chaotic, fast-paced battles where every run feels unique. With a wide variety of characters, each with their own playstyle, and a scaling difficulty system where enemies become increasingly more dangerous over time, every moment feels intense. Whether you play solo or in co-op with friends, the game's deep progression system and satisfying combat make it incredibly replayable. The mix of fast action, strategic item builds, and stunning alien landscapes makes this one of the best roguelikes out there, and yet, it's still criminally underrated. Astral Chain is an action-packed cyberpunk adventure from Platinum Games, the developers behind Bayonetta and Nier Automata. The game's unique dual-character combat system lets you control both your main character and a summoned legion, creating stylish, high-speed battles. You're not just fighting, there are also detective segments, puzzle-solving, and exploration in a beautifully designed futuristic city. The game's anime-inspired visuals, energetic soundtrack, and deep combat mechanics make it an absolute blast. Sadly, since it was a Nintendo Switch exclusive, it didn't reach a wider audience, but if you own a Switch, this is one of the best action games you can play. A Plague Tale. Innocence is a heart-wrenching journey through medieval France, where you play as Amicia, a young girl trying to protect her little brother Hugo during a deadly rat-infested plague. The game combines stealth, puzzle-solving, and emotional storytelling, creating an experience that's both thrilling and deeply moving. The dynamic between the siblings is beautifully written, making every challenge feel personal. The world is dark, atmospheric, and filled with danger, whether it's from the plague itself or the ruthless Inquisition hunting them down. While its sequel, A Plague Tale Requiem, gained more recognition, this first game is an underrated masterpiece that every gamer should experience.
That seems to keep them busy.
Are you sure?
Another ham should be enough. Come on.
There you have it, 15 underrated masterpieces that every gamer needs to experience. Have you played any of these? Or did we miss an underrated gem that deserves a shout out? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.
I'll lift this up. Can you get the torch?
Yes.
It's heavy. Hugo, hurry up. Come on. No!
Are you alright?
Yes. Stay where you are. The ground is rotten.
Misha, how am I going to get back?
We'll find a way. Don't worry. As long as you have the torch, you'll be safe.
But what about you?
We'll move together. That way, the light coming through the grating will protect me.